Hi, I'm Dr. Roadhouse, and this is Ann Mullins, and we're going to do an update on her. Ann is in our diabetes and peripheral neuropathy program. So why don't you just talk about the improvement you have, and you can,
Well, the improvement's pretty good. I mean, the diet's a pain, but but the improvement's good because I've only had, I think we discussed this earlier, only 3 episodes of neuropathy in the last month. And I was having neuropathy every night, and it was painful.
And for how long? Like how many years?
Oh, at least 3. Every night for 3. It was sporadic before that, but it's been bad.
So it was kind of coming and going, and then all of a sudden, approximately around 3 years ago, it started being every day, right?
Every day.
And so in the last
you had to
month,
watch, if you did too much walking, you were gonna hurt for that. I don't know what caused it, but it just, I was trying to watch what was maybe signaling it, that I was gonna have problems.
And they got so bad that you'd have to take
I was taking
right?
Well, I got cold one night and couldn't warm up. We were camping, and I took tramadol through the night. I took 6 tramadol. I didn't, at that point, I was in such pain, I really didn't care if it was overdosed or not. I just took the stuff.
You needed relief.
I needed relief, and I wasn't getting it. I'd take the tramadol, and it wouldn't work. Within an hour, I'd take another one.
Okay. So, we talked last time about your blood sugar, and how it was up around 187 to 209, and you had it charted for several months. I think 6 months, and that's doing better. But overall, are you sleeping better yet?
I'm sleeping better, yes, and that helps. That helps the sugar in the morning. Now this morning my sugar wasn't all that great because I had that neuropathy problem last night. This morning. But
so you've noticed that when you have peripheral neuropathy,
it runs the sugar.
It runs the sugar up. Okay.
What I've noticed with diabetes, period, since the onset, is anything at all wrong with the body. If I'm upset or anything wrong with the body, it sends it up. All I have to do is get mad, and it skyrockets.
And that's a stressor.
Right.
See, and remember we talked about the cerebellum, the neurological part of it, and obviously the metabolic. Okay, so when we did the lab work, we found some pretty interesting things.
Yeah.
And is there anything in the lab work that kind of jumped out at you, or?
Several things jumped out at me. Basically, I had no idea that I was allergic to anything, and this gluten thing is still bugging me because I don't guess I really know what all to do without, and so I'm a little worried about putting things back into my diet after this anti-inflammatory thing that I've been on since February 1st.
So that's good, a good question, because when we did the lab testing, we used the best labs, the 2012 cutting edge labs, and we found that genetically there were certain foods that were attacking your body, and we also found that there were cross-reacting foods, and that's really important because you can, if you think you have a gluten problem, you go gluten-free, but you have these cross-reacting foods that do the same damage as gluten does, and that's one of the Cyrex tests. So we've just gotten your lab work back. As a matter of fact, after this video, we're going to go over it with you and your husband and go over and take you to the next level. But you started it when? February 3rd?
February 1st.
So if you look at February 1st to March, April, 2 months. Took us a month to get your lab work back and all that. So in the last 2 months, how much have you improved compared to the last 3 years, before you started our program?
A bunch.
Okay.
A bunch of improvement. In fact, if there wasn't an improvement there, you'd have a hard time sticking with that diet.
Right.
But the improvement's what keeps you going.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I told you in the beginning. All these patients, we have to get a commitment level from, because it's not easy. But we're not guessing.
It's not easy.
We're not guessing about what the problem is. We do the test, and we know genetically. So that helps you out. And your question is, what can you eat later on? And
well, I'm going to be questioning as soon as I can add something back into the diet.
Right.
Because
it's very restricted in the beginning because we have to keep your blood sugar level like this, and we're still getting it to go up a little bit certain time during the day, but not as high as what it was.
Oh, it's,
so we
it's
can't,
leveled out
yeah.
so much.
Well,
Within the last, I'd say, 2 weeks, that it averages about 130 a day, rather than the monthly averages, and I average it every month.
So before the program, what was your average?
I'm ashamed of those numbers.
No,
Actually,
because there could be someone else
before
out
the
there.
program, my averages were anywhere from 200.
Okay, that's
to,
so.
And that's horrible for.
Yeah, and that was taking metformin and Genumet.
And I was
right.
taking both of them, huh?
Yeah,
I was taking.
And it was still that high. And so, anyway, so, you know, and the question that you asked about, you know, adding food in later on, there's certain foods that you were, you know, had a genetic problem with, you can never eat those again, and then there's other foods you were sensitive to, and so what happens is after we get everything fixed up, then we reintroduce one food at a time that you want to eat. Let's say it's dairy, soy, or something like that. Make sure you don't have a reaction. Then we can go, okay, she's not sensitive to that anymore. If we reintroduce it and you have a problem, then we haven't done enough repair, and we have to do a little bit more repair on that. That'll go down the road. But everyone says, and you just said it, and that is that, you know, you got the improvement you're getting. It was worth it.
But it's tough.
It's tough, right?
It's very
and that's
tough.
what I tell everybody. But the good news is, it's to get you better. It might be tough, but none of the medicines, nothing else is working. You're averaging 200, and you're doing a lot better.
There's the biggest improvement right there.
Yeah.
The medicines were making me sick.
Right.
I had diarrhea. That's kind of hard to say, but and I threw up constantly. I was constantly vomiting. Look, what I didn't lose one end, I lost the other. And the medicines were interreacting with each other. And about the best thing I did was shed the medications. That I mean, because the supplements are doing everything, the medications were doing only better.
And the medications weren't working for you.
Well, they weren't working. They weren't bringing the sugar down, and that's what I was trying to do. And
okay. And just be clear for everybody, I did not tell you to get off any medicines.
No, he did not.
Okay, all right.
He did not. In fact, I took them until they ran out, but the prescriptions ran out, and I just didn't have them refilled because the other things were working, and it's more level. I'm not on that roller coaster anymore with the sugar level.
Well, you know, next time you go see your doctor, you know, when they check that out for you, it's going to be interesting what to say. And,
I need to do that.
Yeah, because
you
need to go and.
I need to do it pretty quick because it's time again for the A1C.
Right, so we need to do the A1C to see how it's doing because it was really up high. But also, your doctor needs to know what's going on with you and make sure that maybe there's a lesser dose that he can give you just to make sure. I mean, it's just, you know, we need to cover all our bases. But the good news is, when you go and talk to him and tell him, look, I'm doing this, and this is helping, and I was doing the medicines, and I've been terrible for the last several months.
There's going to be an argument.
Well,
I know it.
I know there could be, but the bottom line is you're doing great, and who cares about the argument and all that stuff? You just got to think about where you're at right now, and if your doctor would have been able to solve your problem, you wouldn't have come in and you wouldn't have been suffering all this time. You know.
If she could.
Yeah. So you're doing real good. Okay, so we're going to do an update with you. We'll check up with you probably in about, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. You've had really good results. Anything else that's doing better?
Not yet. I'm just beginning to get energy back, so I can't really say that that's doing a whole lot better yet.
Okay, but you are sleeping.
I'm sleeping.
Okay.
Right.
And your blood sugar's down low.
Thing. And the blood sugar's not on a roller coaster.
Okay, and what about like the diarrhea and the throwing up?
I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay, that's
Period.
good. All right,
That's
we'll check with you in a couple months or 6 weeks. And as we go to the next level, we're going to talk about some more of your labs that I just got in. We found some more interesting stuff.
Oh boy.
And we'll go from there. Okay, all right, thanks.